Alrighty, so I'm in my world. I'm ready to set up flow control, right? So I got flow control here. Here are the valves I was talking about. The overflow checks if input is over 80%, and the underflow valve, the checks if the output is under 80%, right? And I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do it, if I just wanted to have valves everywhere. But I think, that's what I usually do. But this time I kind of wanted to have one central repository. So I'm going to bring all the fluids to one area. Probably up here, to be honest. No, probably not up there. I'm going to bring all the fluids right over here, on this side right here. This will be fluid central. Um, and I wanted to put a bunch of pie tanks down, right? And that's where I would see all the fluids. That's where all the valves would go in. All the fluids go here before they get vented, if they need to get vented, right? But in order to make pie tanks, I need duralumin, which is fine. I can make duralumin. Oh, not that. Duralumin. Oh, there it is. How do we make duralumin? Oh, that's simple. It's just aluminum and copper plate, which I have, but it just needs to be made in a smelter, right? And it's like, okay, well, how do I make a smelter now? Smelter, I need titanium. Okay, no problem still. Where is my titanium? Okay, it's over here. That looks not bad. Big sized ore, and it's in the middle of frickin' nowhere. So, to recap, if I want to do flow control, and I want to use these pie tanks, I need to make duralumin, which means I need titanium, which means I have one of three paths going forward here. The first path is to commit the holy war against this entire continent, and hopefully it's one continent, so that I could reach my titanium and I can drag it all the way back, right? That's option one. Option two is I go on a sneak attack. I use platforms, which I now have unlocked, right? So they're gravel soil. Before I needed gravel, I needed jaw crushers, but I have those now, and I could make a little bridge all the way to titanium and make a small defense front. Now, this would be very difficult again because it would cover the entire titanium ore, right? So it would be kind of hard to defend because I'd be surrounded on all sides, and it might be a big drain to my resources. So that's the other option. And the third option is I settle and I use these pie tanks that have 80 kiloliters, right? A mere 80% of the 100 kiloliters from the pie tank. And obviously, I'm not going to settle, so I have to decide between committing holy genocidal war or building a small sneak attack and defending the titanium ore forever. Okay, so I have thought long and hard about what I'm going to do here. We do need to get titanium eventually, but with regards between options 1 and 2, committing a holy genocidal war is clearly the bad thing to do, maybe. But building a bridge to get to titanium ore and defending myself while they attack me is a less bad thing to do. In fact, it's not a bad thing at all. I simply want titanium ore. If they want to attack me for it, then that is their prerogative. But also, I do not stand with the inefficiencies at my base, so I do want to build flow control now. So my compromise is I will make lame flow control first, using smaller tanks, and then later I'll make cool flow control with the titanium tanks once I get them. And this process is as simple as increasing my settling production to increase my military, to prepare platforms to build a bridge, to make a bus to and from titanium, to build a bustle and gate, titanium mining fluid. I don't even know what it is yet, but once we get over there, we're going to figure out what we need to mine the titanium, make that titanium mining fluid, get the titanium ore, get the titanium plates, and I have get titanium plate twice. So let's go ahead and implement lame flow control first. And again, I've been mentioning this flow control thing over and over and over, like, oh, I've been wanting it since season 1. What is flow control exactly? Well, I prepared a video a long time ago, and I finally decided I'm going to use it right here. So here's the video. So, flow control, let me paint you a scenario. This is how we're going to learn how to do it, right? So we need to make accumulator 2s, right, in this machine, and you make it by putting tar in, right? So also, these recipes are fake. Just don't worry about it. And what do we, how do we make this? Okay, well, this machine here produces tar. Why don't we just go ahead and bring it in there? And now we're making these accumulators. But oh no, our system's backing up because we're not doing anything with this black liquid, right? So what do we do with this? Very simple. We just throw it away. That way it can't block this machine, right? So this scenario works perfectly. Um, if we move on to the next scenario, it becomes a little bit more complex. Now we have to build this thing. We're going to call this item B. How do we make item B? Well, you might be thinking, well, we're already producing this black liquid. Why don't we just take this, cross this out and bring it over here? But if you did this, you would be wrong. This is not the correct way to do it because what happens now is that we have two items, but they are now dependent on each other. So let's say this item backs up. Item B backs up all the way. Well, then all of a sudden, right, item B backs up, this black liquid backs up. Oh no, this machine stops producing, which means we stop producing tar, which means we stop producing accumulators, and vice versa. Oh, if accumulator backs up, then we stop needing tar, we stop producing tar, we stop producing this black liquid, and all of a sudden, we're no longer producing item B. So wrong. This is not how you should do it. So I mean, the simple solution and what you do early game is you just take this is set up wrong. But you take this output and then you just bring it here, and then you say, no, we don't need you anymore. And then you can go back to feeding this event, right? But this bothers me, and it should bother you too, because why are we making it separately when it's already made in this machine, right? This is inefficient. We're producing this resource and then we're throwing it out, and then we need it over here and we have to reproduce it again. We're basically doing double the work. How do we solve this? How does flow control solve this, right? It solves this by adding two different valves. The first valve checks if the output is over 80%, if the input is over 80%, and the other valve checks if the output is less than 80%. And let's run through how this works, right? So let's pretend that we are at 30% fluid in our system, right? So from this input over here, it sees that, oh, okay, we're at 30%. It goes to this output. It says, is 30% less than 80%? It is. So it continues on and it gets put into our system. Over here, this has no valve in it, so it just runs freely. It heads up to this first gate and it goes, oh, are we over 80%? We're not. Okay, well then let me go. And I continue on until our system over here to make item B, right? Let's run through another scenario. Let's say we are at 90%. So for at 90%, this one comes out, it goes, hey, are we under 80%? And we're not, so we don't use any over here. This one continues to flow and it goes down into the input, but most likely we're only at 90%, or the more common one, 100%, if this is fully backed up. And if this is fully backed up, then this is going to get backed up. But because we have our valve, once we're over 80%, we go back here and we go, hey, are we over 80%? And we go, yes, we are. So it lets everything out and it gets vented. This way, when this backs up, it does not halt, or when this backs up, it does not halt production of this item. And this is just one example. So in our game, we're going to go ahead and apply this on every single fluid. So what happens is that every time there's a fluid byproduct, we'll attach it to the rest of the system, except we'll say that, oh, okay, only vent this if we're above 80%. Otherwise, let it flow as normal. And then we'll have dedicated machines like this one. We'll say, oh, this is dedicated to make this black liquid. Will only run if we're under 80%. So this is flow control. This is the importance. This is how we're able to use our byproducts before, this is basically how we're able to use our byproducts to make our factory more efficient. So where to begin? I'm going to go over here to this L, or this triangle area that I said I was going to before, and I'm just going to start crafting pie tanks and run out of lead, so I'm going to have to run back to the left Oh man, they take lead. I am very low on lead. But anyways, we'll take the lead, we'll just paste them around here and make sure we have every single fluid accounted for. Alright, so this is my initial design. This one is going to be for coal gas, and this is going to be for tar. So I have to check everything that makes tar, and I'm going to have to go ahead and put an underflow valve everywhere that the primary product is tar to make sure it doesn't overproduce and that we use our other tar first. So we can actually just use it, go from factory search. We can see here, the primary product here is not tar, it is coke, so not that one. Here we go, the primary product here is acetylene, not tar, so that one is also good. Okay, so if we mouse over this tar, I think this is the tar that is used here. Yeah, so this primarily makes tar. And then we have another system here that primarily makes coal gas, so we can add that here. But basically, we're full on coal gas, and we have tar. So since this is now this used to make primarily coal gas and tar, but now it primarily makes just tar because we already have something that primarily makes coal gas. So we need to go put an underflow valve on it so that it doesn't produce tar unless it needs to. Ah, okay, so it's not producing anything, obviously, because the coal gas is full. So let's go ahead and put an underflow valve on the tar connected up, and then we'll come back and we'll do the coal gas shortly after. And here we go, underflow valve, and that's the only one we have to worry about. Okay, and with this, I think that's all coal gas in the system connected. So if I factory search again, this one is connected, as we can see. Yep, goes all the way out there, and these ones too. Oh, there's a drain here. I gotta get rid of that vent. These ones I just connected up, so these are up here, and they go all the way down, and they follow the rest of the base. And the gasifier, I just made an overflow valve here recently. Let's go and nuke that pi gas vent real quick. Okay, so with the vent destroyed, we can go ahead and connect this, or at least the coal gas, to our system here. Again, this is coal gas right here. Nice, you can see it's filling up. And if we look at the consumption and we type in coal gas, we should stop seeing large spikes, or now we should stop seeing large spikes. Because we're no longer dumping them all. Well, I guess until I plug it into here. And there we go. We won't dump for a while because first we need to fill up this 80 kiloliters pie tank before we vent it. Next up, let's go ahead and do the same thing for tar. So we already did the products. Again, we already looked through these and determined that they were good, but what about where they're ingredients? Tar as an ingredient. Oh, let's look at product again. Good, 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 good. Okay, ingredients. Gasifier here, we've already taken care of it there. Quenching tower, it is a main ingredient, so no, nothing needed. Main ingredient here, nothing needed. And this destructive distillation column, main ingredient, so nothing needed here either. It will accept tar, which means that tar is good to go. So we can just go ahead and suck up tar here too. Just bring it right over here. And that looks good. So now tar, this shouldn't be filling up at all because we are consuming more tar than we need, but I don't think we were sinkholing any tar either. Yeah, we weren't, so I mean this will do nothing until tar backs up, which it won't because we need more tar, if anything. Let's go ahead and keep doing this for more fluids. Alright, so up next, we are going to go ahead and do flue gas. So it's being vented here, here, and here. So we need to take those outputs, and then it's also being... Oh yeah, these are the ones producing it. They're basically produced here, 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 and then they're getting vented immediately right next to them. So let's go ahead and collect all the flue gas. Okay, and with this, we should have all the flue gas. So if we go here, we can see that we've destroyed all the vents, and we've connected up the flue gas for all these systems. So now all that's left is to plug it in here and watch our tank fill up. So it's this tank, it's going to fill up with flue gas, and then eventually it's going to start dumping it all. But also, now that we have flue gas, I think we can go ahead and upgrade our glassworks, include flue gas in an area. Also, it's looking very cramped in here, so I'm actually thinking about picking up the glassworks and putting it down here somewhere. Actually, right underneath the fluids could make a lot of sense. Or I could make it on the other side of the fluids. That could also make sense so that these... No, I'll make it below. We'll do it right here. But I'll do glassworks at some point. Let me add it into my roadmap. Alright, so I'm here in my test world because I wanted to run the numbers here. Randomly, while connecting up my fluids, I decided I would add wood to the excess burnable fuels line, and I just wanted to make sure it was efficient. And it is, because, I mean, each raw coal is 3 megajoules of energy, and each of these is 2 megajoules. So this is less than 3 megajoules of energy, and it turns into 10 megajoules of energy. And all it costs is stone, which we need to get rid of, ash, which we have plenty of, and water, which is free. And then it even makes us tar and coal gas for free. So I don't know why I haven't done this, but yeah, I'm gonna add wood to the excess burnables because it's just free fuel. It's free. It's free. So yeah, really quickly, this is gonna go from this to this. All we did was add wood and raw coal, because raw coal wasn't added in for some reason. And also, just so it's not empty, I've added this to disguise it. There's dark matter. Actually, I don't know what this is. This is matter. I don't know what it's for. But yeah, and now I can get rid of this little doohickey here, because I can just drop everything in here, and it'll go through the system. I'm adding this over by the wood to ensure that we have wood in our inventory, and also just a bit of a backlog of wood here, so that we don't drain it completely. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and add wood to the excess burnables right now. And here we go. Here's the official connection. Now we're adding wood to our excess burnables line. We have wood being stockpiled here, so we don't run out. We'll finally, we are finally going to get rid of all our logs that have been backing up forever, and we're going to see another excess burnable in the line. Again, more sushi for my sushi belt. Let's go see it run down here and make sure it all connects up well. Alright, here it comes, and then we can go ahead and release this into the system and make sure everything runs smoothly. Alright, it seems to be running smoothly to me. Now we have wood mixed in with raw coal and other things, and it looks good. So let's get back to getting those fluids into our flow control. Also very important to make sure the priority output's to the left. That way we're only giving up fuel if it's excess, otherwise it goes to the rest of the line here. Alright, here is acetylene. I've dragged it over, now I'm just going to plug it in. And acetylene is connected. Next up, we have carbon dioxide. Alright, so I've been thinking, and I don't think I actually want to add every single fluid, especially not internal fluids like this, because first of all, this would be a lot of work. Second of all, though, a lot of these internal fluids shouldn't, this is a subsystem. I shouldn't be ripping out all the parts of the subsystem and contributing it to the rest of the factory. I could do just outputs. That would make a lot of sense, where I rip out all the outputs. And I say the outputs go into the system. That's probably what I should do. But I'm going to think on it. This came to mind because I was looking at carbon dioxide, and I was like, well, all my carbon dioxide, yes, things need carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide things make carbon dioxide, but mainly they've just been. It's like this is coke-based carbon dioxide, right? So it's like we already have something that makes coke for it in the system. Why should I bring other fluids from other system into here? So I realized that this is kind of going against like my sub-factory, subsystem methodology. So for now, I think I'm just going to hold off. I think I will collect outputs. I'll think about it a little bit more, but I'll hold off on doing any more fluids. I think we got a bunch of the main ones here so far. So that is it for flow control this episode. Next episode, we are going to start our journey towards getting this titanium ore, and that begins with building a bridge. Here we go. We can't close out an episode without saying a big thank you to my patrons. Thank you, Ema, and thank you, John Boy. See you guys at episode 3.